Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Just Weeby. I'll get my coffee here. Anyway, today we're going to cover the debate over in Virginia. This is going to be a little bit of a short video, but I think I'm going to name this video the Stepford wife, because that's what Abigail Spanberger or something like that over in Virginia, during this debate, that's what she reminds me of. She reminds me like of the robotic actions of the wives in that movie. Like they have no brain. You can just see basically something's really, really wrong with them. And that's exactly what she reminds me of here. So let's go ahead and get into this debate, and I will leave my comments on it. All right, here we go.
Jay Jones has apologized and says he takes full responsibility for those messages. Ms. Spanberger, you have called the comments disgusting and said you condemn violence. The question for you tonight is, were you aware of these messages before they were released publicly, and will you continue to endorse Jay Jones?
Okay, so as you got the name there, she's talking about Jay Jones, the one that's a Democrat that is running for the Attorney General position. And I just found this interesting on how she responds to typical Democrat, just sorry, but just like Harris and the rest of them. It's like they can't answer the question. They avoid the question. Anything that requires truth, they just simply avoid. They kind of mock it and go on with something else. But anyway, let's go ahead and watch this.
As the next Attorney General of Virginia, you have 60 seconds.
The comments that Jay Jones made are absolutely abhorrent. I denounced them when I learned of them, and I will denounce them every opportunity I get. As a mother, as a public servant, as a candidate for governor, I denounce them. And it is important that candidates always denounce violence on no matter which side of the aisle. Violence, violent rhetoric, we should always be focused and forceful in our denouncement of it. And importantly, my opponent unfortunately only denounces violence when her side is the target. I hope
like that,
into
Abigail.
the future she will endeavor to denounce violent rhetoric and violence no matter who the victim. And tonight, Lieutenant Governor Earl Sears, I will say, you routinely referred to me as your enemy.
Just please give her a chance to
You routinely
respond.
refer to me as your enemy. I'm not your enemy. You are not my enemy. We are political opponents, and tonight voters are here to listen to the policy differences that we have. So as we move forward, we must continue to...
If you noticed how she answered that, she said she denounces violence, but she did not denounce the man that made the comments. She was avoiding denouncing him for the comments that he made. She was only denouncing the comments without denouncing the individual that had actually made the comments. And that's the root of all this. I think this continues, and she continues going along the same line. She's, matter of fact, she's asked straight out if she would denounce the man, and she just will not do it.
To set a good example for all of our children.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. I didn't hear an answer there on the endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next Attorney General of Virginia? And were you aware of these text messages before they released? You have 30 seconds.
In fact, it appears that it was those who released the text messages and held them for years. So the public was unaware who had knowledge of these text messages for many.
Okay. So whether or not it's just now coming to light and they've had them for years doesn't matter. Matters is will you denounce your endorsement for him, and she will refuse to do that. She will supposedly denounce the text messages, but she will not denounce her endorsement. So what does that mean? That means that she supports it. That means that she supports the guy that wrote the text messages. She will support the text messages if she supports him. That's basically what it boils down to, and this is what they're trying to get an answer. And she avoids it like it's the plague. It is. It's simple. Will you denounce him? Yes, I will denounce him. No, she doesn't do that. She always avoids that of denouncing him and says, no, I've said it before. Let the voters decide. She says that later, I think, in this. But let the voters decide. But she will not denounce him, or she will not denounce her endorsement of him.
You do about
I
all that.
learned
please
of
give
these
her the
text
chance.
messages the day that they came out, and I denounced them as soon as I learned of
She
them.
denounces murder.
And
Earl Sayers, please give her-
importantly, at this point, as we move forward, the voters now have this information that was withheld for them,
you're running to be
presumably for
Ms. Earl Sayers,
political
please.
reasons. But the voters now have the information, and it is up to voters to make an individual choice based on this information.
Ms. Spanberger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself, do you still continue to endorse Jay Jones?
Listen,
15 seconds, yes or no?
We are all running our individual races. I believe my opponent has said that about
Third time is
her
the
lieutenant
charm,
governor
Abigail.
nominee.
Ms. Earl
running-
Sayers.
And it's
Ms. Earl
up
Sayers.
to every person to make their own decision. I am running my race to serve Virginia.
I'm avoiding
and
the
that is
question.
what I intend to do.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. We just want to clarify, what you're saying is that as of now, you still endorse Jay
Of
Jones
course.
as Attorney General.
I'm saying as of now, it's up to every voter to make their own individual
Yes, you're
decision.
saying
I
it.
am
You
running
can't
for
even
governor. I am
answer.
accountable for the
Oh.
words
That would
that
be
I
she still
say
endorses
for
him.
the act.
Talking to these type of people drives you insane. It really can drive you insane where you just want to hit your head against the wall. Answer the fucking question. It's that simple. They do it in Congress also. Every damn time they have a hearing, these people get up on the floor. They evade the question constantly. And this question is actually very relevant to her race as being on the Democrat ticket. She has a fellow Democrat. She supported him. She endorsed him. And then she finds out this horrible message that he wrote about fantasizing shooting, well, that's how they put it, fantasizing shooting a former Republican senator, I believe, and not only that, but possibly the two children while the wife watches and cries. She has taken the stance that I will still endorse him. I will still endorse him. Oh, he's publicly apologized, but he's done it. In that text message, he did it 3 times, and then he was caught shortly before that saying the same thing about police. So this is somebody that basically doubles, triples, quadruples down on what they're saying. So they mean it. I don't really care if they come back and say, oh, I'm sorry that I wrote that. That's not enough. How about you drop out, say that you're sorry, I don't need to be in this position right now. I need to clear my mind. I need something. Oh, man. How many of you feel the same way? Go ahead and leave your comments. I know you got to be hitting your head against the wall right now.
That I take for the policies that
Okay.
I have put out.
Thank you.
I am responsible for the policies I put out and the work I will endeavor to do tirelessly
You are
for the
responsible
people
as
as
of
governor.
Bullshit.
Thank you,
You
Ms.
can't even
Spanberger.
answer
Well,
a
I
question.
think as everybody knows, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian before I'm a Republican, and I'm required to forgive people.
Got my
And
coffee.
It's hard sometimes when somebody has abused you, etc., but it's something you must do, because not to forgive is almost like, as someone said, you drink poison thinking that it's going to affect the other person. And I want to live a decent life, and I don't want to have not have peace in my life. And so as I've said before, I would not say that. So that's why I'm wondering why my opponent won't say beyond it's abhorrent and disgusting, why she won't say it is not okay and that he must leave the race, because Jay Jones advocated the murder, Abigail, the murder of a man, a former speaker, as well as his children who were 2 and 5 years old. You have little girls. What would it take
Stepford
him
wife.
pulling the trigger? Is that
Right there.
what would do it? And then you
Just
would
staring
say
into outer
he needs to
space.
get out of the race?
Nothing.
Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail,
Look, she's
what
almost
if
like
he said it about your your 3 children?
she's not just saying anything and standing there almost emotionless like a Stepford wife. She gave herself away there just a little bit. She actually smiled. Did you see that? She's got a little smirk on her face.
Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail?
See?
You're running to be governor. Take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say,
That's the same one. Let's see what else is going on here. There.
Males be allowed to use girls' bathrooms and play on girls' sports teams in K through 12. You have 15 seconds to clarify.
In cases across Virginia, I think it's incumbent upon parents and educators and administrators
won't answer
in
the
each
question
local
again.
community to
Nude
make
men in
decisions
locker rooms.
locally.
That's
She is kind of answering the question just like the last one. She's just not answering directly. She supports boys going into the trans going into the girls or boys. This is in Virginia where they had made a law, and she clearly supports it. She doesn't support the law. She supports it by simply getting around it by saying, I feel like that should be up to the school districts, and that's where it should be. No, state actually this is a public school. It's not a private school. These are public schools. So I tell you what, if you really, really, really want to get to the heart of of all the griping with your so-called trans using a woman's bathroom or female bathroom versus a male, how about just mandating a third bathroom that's open to whichever sex and anybody can use it? Simple solution for the bullshit. Just make a third bathroom that anybody can enter.
what this is about.
Ms. Earl Sears?
There should never be
We're gonna get
nude
to you in a
men
moment.
Oh
in
my
locker
goodness, we
rooms.
finally have her saying that, but you voted for that.
Ms. Earl
Have you
Sears.
finally
My opponent
Ms.
said
Earl
that
Sears, you are
now?
just
Lying.
intruding on
Are
time
we in
here. We're
agreement
trying.
now? Are you
Ms.
going
Earl
to
Sears?
tell?
I gotta hear that.
This is Ms.
I missed
Spanberger's
her.
time. I have a follow-up question for Ms. Spanberger.
Let me.
Would you receive
For that.
Decisions
Locker rooms.
locally.
That's what.
In cases across Virginia, I think it's incumbent upon parents and educators and administrators in each local community to
Nude
make
men in
decisions
locker rooms.
locally.
That's what this is about.
Ms. Earl Sears?
There should never be
We're gonna get
nude
to you in a
men
moment.
Oh
in
my
locker
goodness, we
rooms.
finally have her saying that, but you voted for that.
Ms. Earl
Have you
Sears.
finally
My opponent
Ms. Earl
said
Sears,
that
you are
now?
just
lying.
intruding on
Are we
time
in
here. We're
agreement
trying.
now? Are you
Ms.
going
Earl
to
Sears?
tell?
She does need to be
This is
quiet.
Ms. Spanberger's time. I have a follow-up question for Ms. Spanberger.
Spears.
Would you rescind the Youngkin administration policy requiring boys and girls to use bathrooms aligning with their biological sex? You have 30 seconds.
My
Narrow it
priority
down.
would be to
Now she's
ensure
gonna
that
answer.
local communities, importantly parents and teachers
That's
and
a yes or
educators,
no.
are able to work together to meet the unique needs of each school and each community.
The girls
and
need
that is
privacy.
important. And I say that as a mother of
Robot.
3 daughters in Virginia public schools.
Exactly.
And as someone who used to investigate crime.
She says the same thing every time they try to re-ask the question. They're expecting you to answer the question because they did not get an answer. That's why they're re-asking the question, and then she gives the same fucking answer. Sorry.
crimes against children. The way that we keep our children safe is by ensuring they are safe in schools, which includes funding law enforcement and public safety.
But Ms.
At its-
Spanberger, the question was,
I caught that. You notice there in the last one, she put, which includes funding. No, it needs to be up to the school board and the parents for a public school district that gets federal and state funding to operate with, and they need that funding, and that decision should be theirs to make. No, that's why they pulled the funding, because they were not in line with the law that Virginia had put in place. So, and I think Trump had put some policies in place dealing with that, so they pulled federal funding. As far as I know on that one, they pulled federal funding. You can let me know in the comments for sure if they pulled any state funding or not, but I'm pretty sure they pulled federal funding on the local public schools. That was not following the federal guideline that the feds put in place to receive that money. That's part of your condition to receive the fucking money. Sorry for the F-bombs. But that's part of the condition that's put in place for you to receive you receive federal grants, you receive federal money, and you must meet certain conditions to receive the federal funding. If you don't meet those conditions, you don't get the federal funding. Anyway, you can see where she stands on all that crap.
would you rescind the Youngkin administration policy requiring boys and girls to use bathrooms aligning with their biological sex? You have 15 seconds to clarify that question.
Watch your answer.
And my answer is that in each local community, decisions should be made between parents and educators and teachers.
Stepford wife.
In each community. It
Same
shouldn't be
statement,
dictated
three
by-
fucking
that
times.
biological men are larger in strength than women. We understand this. This is biology. If you look at football teams, you can see the difference
don't think they're
between
teaching biology.
males and females. This is not hard. And that's why I'm asking my opponent, if your little girl comes home and said she was forced to undress in a locker room with a biological boy, what would you say? She's crying. What would you say? Are you not going to answer?
Ms.
Yeah, there's
No.
There is a clear market in order to be enforced, because it is in the absence of an open and clear and extraordinarily transparent market that law enforcement is not able to.
Yeah, okay, I didn't get what that last bit was about. But that's how they answer in gibberish. So I guess we have a new language that we have to learn, guys. It's called gibberish, which everybody kind of knows that. That's just whenever they repeat nonsensical items. Nonsensical statements. Yeah. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Anyway, I'm going to keep this one short tonight. So I just wanted to get this debate in. There's some others with Don Lemon doing interviews, which is interesting, up in Chicago. And I seen a couple of them that I was going to talk about where he was seeing a legal migrant from Mexico. And he was kind of coming down hard on her, not knowing what the laws was, and she didn't quite know what the laws was either. Because he was talking about how illegal immigrants, it's not illegal. She tries to, that they're not breaking any laws. That's how he puts it. And she's like, no, they're breaking laws coming in. And then he turns around and says, no, they're misdemeanors. They're misdemeanors. So they're smaller. She's like, well, that's a crime. If it's a crime, then they need to be prosecuted just like anybody else. And then he's like, no, it's a misdemeanor. And, you know, how anyway, he screws everything up. And I was going to go over that with the actual statutes that are in place dealing with illegal immigrants and the time that you can actually get for harboring an illegal immigrant. If an illegal immigrant commits a crime while you're harboring them, how much time you can get, not the illegal immigrant, you can get for harboring. If you harbor an illegal immigrant knowingly without reporting it and they find out, I think you can get up to 4 years in prison. If you are harboring an illegal immigrant while they commit a crime, you are responsible for the crime that they've committed while you were harboring them, and you can get up to 8 years. And if you're harboring an illegal immigrant and that illegal immigrant commits a murder, you can actually be executed for harboring the illegal immigrant that had went out and killed somebody. A lot of people don't know. It's in the statutes. I'm going to do one, I think, next on that one. But I was thinking of bringing that crap up with Don Lemon. But instead, I think I might tie that in. I may show one of Don Lemon on that, because I'd like to get into the insurrection and the act that Trump might actually call upon. Because I noticed here lately they keep acting like it's the first time in history. How dare he call up on the Insurrection Act? It's never been used, and it's never been used before. It's the first time in our history that a president has wielded this much power. It's ridiculous, and it's a bunch of bullshit. The Insurrection Act's been called up on at least 5, 6, 7 times, maybe 8, since its inception, which I think was in the late 1800s. But anyway, since its inception, it's been called upon several different times. And even before that, we had the Whiskey Rebellion that was dealt with at the founding of the nation underneath Washington. I mentioned that a couple of times. So I thought about actually just doing our next video on that. But I'd like to get the Don Lemon one in there also with the codes dealing with the immigration and illegal immigration in the USC. Pull that up actually and show you the actual codes that's dealing with that, because that can actually tie in with the Insurrection Act. You have illegal immigrants that are basically invading the country. So this, and they're being sponsored with finances from outside sources, from foreign sources, foreign government sources actually, which is one of the stipulations I think that you would have to clarify. But there is some foreign government entities that are that has delivered some funds. Whether or not it's intentional or not intentional, I don't think it really matters. But the Antifa, that's why Trump's doing what he's doing. I'm going to save this for another video, but I was just wanting to kind of break that down to get to the point where how Trump can actually use the Insurrection Act. It has been used several times before. You tie that in with the illegal immigrants that has been coming into the country and that's been flooding the country during the Biden administration, that they've been letting get away with all that. Might have been for voting or whatever, but he can kind of clean that up, and he can call on the Insurrection Act. Anyway, I'm going to do that the next time. I'll try and have that video up in the next day or two. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. It just helps us out. And for those interested in travel, please go over to the travel channel, Ready Set Travel, over on YouTube. And we are also on Daily Motion. if you're getting tired of the politics or getting tired of here, you don't feel up to watching the travel videos, you can go catch an old movie. We got some public domain movies in P-Vault, so we got a channel called P-Vault. And then there's the gaming channel where I like to get away from this and just go play games every now and then. So that's over at Weeby Games, and this is just Weeby. So thanks again for watching, and I will see everybody in the next day or two.